Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks. A lot of coaches seem to be out on five-star Cormani McClain. We're going to get into why that is. Also, the VOLS have added a key player for their basketball team. They've also had a player enter the transfer portal on their football team. We're going to talk all about that.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
And this is a story on Buff's Beat by Josh Tolley. It says, Cormani McClain finding out the hard way after multiple schools reportedly not pursuing him. Now, this guy was a huge get for Coach Prime last year. Five-star cornerback. They were going to have the perfect setup. They were going to have Travis Hunter on one side and Cormani McClain on the other, and you were not going to be able to pass on this team, and they were going to eliminate your two best wide receivers. Well, Cormani hadn't worked out at all, and he's transferring out of Colorado, and he actually didn't get to play very much. Now, the reports were that he was late for class or didn't go to class, late for meetings, and wasn't putting in the work, is what the reports were. And Coach Prime's not going to have that. And really, I thought that was going to be a perfect setup for Cormani. Here he is, a five-star elite cornerback. You've already seen what Travis Hunter's done there. And you've got this legend of a cornerback in Deion Sanders, who was probably the best that ever played the position, teaching you. And Deion appears to me to be a pretty darn good coach. He won big time in Florida at a smaller school, comes to Colorado, got him off to a crazy good start. I was shocked. Now, they only won 4 games last year, but that's better than winning 1, which is what they'd done the year before Coach Prime got there. So, to me, that should have been a marriage made in heaven, honestly. I mean, what a better setup. But Cormani came out and said some things that were a bit of a dig at Deion Sanders, which I don't think is going to go over well for him, and it already is not going over well. Talks about how he's having difficulties to find another home. He's not getting the buzz that's expected. Several programs are reluctant to pursue McClain, according to 247's Matt Zenith, even though obviously he's one of the most talented players out there. But it turns out a lot of the coaches are concerned about what they consider to be red flags. And a lot of the fans from Colorado are not real happy with him either, saying comments like, you think you're bigger than the program. Demetrius Shadile Sanders even mentioned that how he felt relieved that the toxic atmosphere being gone due to one of the players hitting the transfer portal. Didn't say specifically it was McClain, but people took it to mean that. And the dig that McClain took at Deion Sanders actually reached national news. This is actually in the New York Post, and I saw it all over the country. And he said that he was not going to play for clicks. He said, I feel like I just don't want to play for clicks. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. And he said, I'm just ready to bring the old version of me out and change the narrative of everyone's thinking on my name and being a part of a real and a great program that's going to impact me and my best ability. I'm ready to get to a new place and get to work. And he also said it was never the school part, just to clear that up with you guys. Some people had thought that he wasn't going to class and he had bad grades. He said that he got A's and B's at Colorado. Staying on top of school is the biggest impact right now. So he did want to try to negate that thought out there that he was struggling at school. He said, what is your message to your next school? He said, just know whoever you are, you're getting a dog that's ready to work, and that's a simple fact. And Sanders said, I pray to God that he goes to a program that challenges him as well as holds him accountable and develops him as a young man. Unfortunately, we weren't the program that could accomplish that. So those are red flags, honestly. If you think about it, if Deion Sanders can't reach you, here's the thing. This guy, I hate to see anybody throw away great talent. You really just hate to see that. Maybe he just needs to grow up. This is obviously a maturity issue. He's only, 19? I think he's 20 years old, actually. He's very young, and he probably thought, hey, I'm a 5-star. I'm just going to waltz in there, take the starting position, and that's that.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
It's not going to work that way. I can tell you as somebody, when I was in high school and I was playing golf in the state of Tennessee, I thought I was really good until I went to the University of Tennessee to play college golf. And I wasn't a 5-star. I would have been probably a 3-star. When I went in there, I was like, holy crap, these guys are great. They're better than I am. And I'm going to have to get on it. That sort of reality smacking you in the face,
Snap out of it.
And Colorado, look, you can say, well, they're not a great program. They're still a Division I Power 5 program. And I remember when Colorado used to have a great team. I remember those days. And they could get back there. I think Deion Sanders was a good hire. I really do. They went from winning 1 game to 4, and they're probably on their way to winning 6 or 7 this year. So maybe he just needs to grow up and realize you've got to go to meetings, you've got to pay attention, you got to work. And the fact that there's a bunch of teams out there that are backing off, it's probably because he wants $1 million. And they're going to go, I'm not going to invest $1 million in a guy that didn't work with Deion Sanders and he was a cornerback. I can tell you, if I was a head coach, I would be very hesitant to do that. You can go spend $1 million and get 2 or 3 players that'll bust their butt, as opposed to getting one player who might work hard or might not. And if he does not, you're out $1 million. But even worse, you're out the opportunity cost, because now you could have had 1, 2, 3 really good players for that amount of money. Instead, you've got one guy that sat on the bench. So that's a huge risk to put that much money in a player that might or might not play well for you. And also could possibly be a negative impact in the locker room. You can't have that either. So I understand the red flags there. Somebody will give him an opportunity for sure. He's too talented. And if he'll go out there and play great next year or really work hard and show huge improvement, he'll get his money. He will flat out get his money. But he's going to now he has to go out and show it. You know, a year ago, he got the benefit of a doubt. Well, now he has to prove that doubt. I didn't say that right. Anyway, he's got to prove it now. That's what it boils down to. So that's a very interesting story. Maybe he'll get it turned around. I'm not going to blame Deion Sanders for this at all. I think this is probably on the young man, and he will we'll see. Hopefully he turns it around and gets himself squared away, because otherwise he's throwing away a crap load of talent. Anyway, speaking of talent, we lost a player and added a player at UT. Christian Connor entered the transfer portal. He was a 4-star, number 1 player in Kentucky on some services. Other services, he was a 3-star and the number 4 player in Kentucky. It just depended on where you looked at. On 247, they had him as a 3-star, number 85 cornerback in the country. It just, like I say, people had different opinions. I covered this recruitment on him. I showed you the videos of him. He's a good player, but he just wasn't able to break into either the first or second position at cornerback. And one of those reasons is we pretty much brought in a bunch of players to play cornerback and to play defensive back, because honestly, our secondary was terrible and has been terrible for the last 3 years. So they brought in a bunch of guys, and a lot of them were 4-stars and even more highly rated than Christian Conyers. And if you look at our 2023 commitment list, of course, it started out with Nico and David Hobbs, Cam Selden. We brought in some good players in 2023. A lot of high 4-stars, 5-stars, all down the list. Arian Carter, Nick Saban tried everything to get Arian Carter. He was in his living room the week he committed to the VOLS. That's how much he wanted Carter. I think he's going to be a terrific linebacker. Anyway, we picked up Jordan Matthews out of Louisiana, and he was more highly rated than Conyers. And also Ricky Gibson, who was also more highly rated, and I think he's going to be our starting cornerback, or one of them. And then you'll see Christian Conyers right here. I think this is probably a good sign for the Vols, because now we've got players that are, keeping some of the middle-of-the-road players from getting on the field. Before, if you were any good at all, you got on the field in the defensive backfield. Now that's not the case, so it's probably a good sign. And the nice thing about the transfer portal, this is a good player. This is a guy that could start somewhere, and he deserves the opportunity to do that at a probably smaller school. And someone will pick him up, and he'll get some money. So not only will he get to play, he'll get some money, and he'll have an opportunity to improve his situation. I don't have any problem with that at all. And I think that's a good, healthy sign of the Volunteers program, given where it's at. I mean, we've only had 2 guys enter the portal, which is kind of shocking, really, given the circumstances of the world we live in now. Now we're going to talk about the basketball team. They picked up a really good player. Igor Milisak. This is a guy at 6'10", 225. He's got the height. Very good shooter. He scores about 12, 13 points a game, a little over 8 rebounds per game. And the nice thing is he's a really good shooter. He shoots 37% from the three-point line at 6'10". Nice thing about that is he will always have his shot. If you're that tall, they've got to put a tall guy against you. Well, he's going to be able to sneak out there and get all the three-point shots that he wants. And if he can get that number up to 40%, he can shoot all he wants from there all day long. And, of course, we picked up Darling Stone DePar, a guy that's averaging 18 points a game. Obviously, we're hoping that he can help somewhat replace Dalton Connect. You can't replace that guy. He was the best player in the country.
Opinions vary.
But, you know, he can help along those lines.
Roadhouse.
Also, we picked up a very good rim protector in Felix Opara, 6'11", 235, a guy that's a very good defender. So I like all three of these pickups. They're all tall. Two of them are really good shooters. One guy's a great defender. I think these are terrific pickups in the transfer portal. We need one more guy, one more dude. And our hopes are to pick up Chaz Lanier, a great shooter, shoots over 40% from three-point line, averaged almost 20 points a game, and he plays at North Florida. Now, he is exploring the opportunity of the NBA draft. I think he'll end up staying in college one more year, and maybe he can do the Dalton Connect thing. And you go and you score 20 points a game in the SEC, and all of a sudden you're a first-round draft pick. So that would be fantastic. Chaz Lanier is the guy that I think we have a legitimate shot at. Now, he's being asked not to have anybody contact him while he's going through the NBA process.
Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, as if.
Yes, but after that, I think he'll be looking hard at Tennessee. And there's one other team that he's very interested in as well. There was another fellow by the name of Cade Tyson, but I'm hearing he's probably going to go to North Carolina and he wants a bunch of money. Another really great shooter. But I really feel like we only need about one more player out of the portal that could really help us, and that Chaz Lanier guy would be ideal. And he could help Zakai Ziegler out as far as playing that off-guard position, because we do need an off-guard. And then as far as transfer portal is concerned, I think we'd pretty much be through, and we will have filled our needs. Now, I know Toby Awak, I understand, is going to Kansas, I believe it is. No, Arizona. And Jonas Adu, I understand, is going to Arkansas to play for Calipari. I'm not shocked by that. I could see that. Arkansas is pretty much starting from scratch, but they've already brought in some big-time five-stars. So I could see Adu winding up there. It is unfortunate we didn't get a Waka back, but you know, it is what it is. We're living in the world of the transfer portal, and we're just going to have to get used to it. I still don't like it when we lose a guy that we really liked. All right, folks, and if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, hit this little button right here. I would certainly appreciate it. It doesn't cost you a dime. Helps me out. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time. Sports Talk Jay.